God, help me!
When we as humans think about ourselves as a species, we are without a doubt the smartest species out there. But it really wasn't too long ago when we were driving metal spikes into our brains to solve things like schizophrenia and depression. So this is another simple 2-image slideshow, the first image showing a diagram of somebody receiving a transorbital lobotomy, and the second image showing one of the patients of this before and after their treatment. So for some backstory, the first ever modern lobotomy was performed back in 1935 on a 63-year-old woman, and it was done by somebody you guys might have heard about before, Antonio Moniz. Antonio theorized that mental illnesses like schizophrenia or depression were caused by stickiness of white matter located in the frontal cortex of the brain. He then developed his version of the lobotomy, which oftentimes involved injecting alcohol into the frontal cortex and severing a bunch of ties there, which he noticed would cure aggression. And despite the fact that there was quite a bit of pushback from people at the time for the lobotomy procedure, Antonio ended up winning a Nobel Prize in 1949 for his findings with the lobotomy. Now, even though Antonio was the one who developed the lobotomy, there was another man by the name of Walter Freeman who's really the one who popularized it and started handing them out around the United States like candy to kids. Then, in the 1940s, Walter developed his own version of this procedure known as the transorbital lobotomy, which didn't have to take place in a surgical setting at all. You could literally do it in the back of a van, and that's actually what he did on a lot of occasions. In the following years after developing the transorbital lobotomy, Walter would literally travel around the United States in something that he called the lobotomobile and give this procedure to anyone who asked for it, all the while advertising it as a common solution for simple mental ailments. And because his entire goal was to advertise this, he would oftentimes take photos of patients before and after their lobotomies and paint it in a positive light so even more people would jump on board this train. In this image, the one that you guys saw at the beginning of this video, this patient was the meanest woman ever, and then 2 weeks after her lobotomy, she has cleared up and she's giggling a lot, just has lost most of her hair. Another woman who was claimed to be malnourished and only weighed 85 pounds before her lobotomy, and then this is her a couple of years later, up to 210 pounds, supposedly happy. And tragically, adults were not the only ones who had to suffer lobotomies. He had even performed one on a young 8-year-old boy with schizophrenia, and this is his before and after photo. But these before and after photos were usually taken within a very short timeline from when they had the lobotomy. This is what one woman looks like 6 months after her lobotomy, and then 5 years after the lobotomy, where you can really see the difference. Eventually, though, the final lobotomy took place at the hands of Walter Freeman in 1967, and when all was said and done, roughly 50,000 people in the US had underwent this procedure, and many of them felt the everlasting impacts of it. And all that to say, in my opinion, this is definitely one of those timelines that negatively reflects on humanity. As always, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys want to see next. I also have my Patreon linked in my bio. There's a free and paid version. I release long form videos on there early as well as exclusive content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.